Strange things in the sky and around the world. Strange beings sighted. What's going on? All around us, conspiracy theories are being discussed. This is the show all about the strange things that are way out there. I'm Gary Russ, and this Way Out There's back with more weird stories of the strange and the bizarre. Keep looking up in the sky and let me know what you see. Way out there. Every third Friday at 2 o'clock Central on GJRB. It's that time of year once again. Spring. A time when the weather gets warm and the flowers bloom, and GJRB is starting new programs and bringing back older ones that haven't been on for a while. It's the GJRB Spring Spectacular. All new programs and old ones returning, like Radioland, Gary J's Radio and Television Classics under a new name. Radio, television, and movie classics, featuring not just radio and television broadcast rarities, but also intermissions from drive-in movie theaters and indoor theaters too. Old movie trailers and movie trivia. The Spring Spectacular will also mean the return of the blues with Gary J's Blues House and country bluegrass with Bluegrass Jubilee. New additions to the Gary Russell program, including The Man on the Street, as I take my voice recorder to the streets of Clinton and ask people their opinions on what's going on in the news and lighter fun stuff. GJRB Spring Spectacular starts in April on GJRB. Whether it's baseball, basketball, hockey, even bowling, it's covered on Gary J's Sports page. I'll talk about what's going on in the world of sports all over the USA. We'll read you interesting articles about the players and even keep up with the scores of the games going on live. I'll even have guests from time to time and just talk sports. Better than any newspaper page, it comes alive. Gary J's Sports page, alternating Saturdays at 2 o'clock Central on GJRB Online. The mainstream media is not telling you the truth. They have their own agenda. At GJRB, I have mine, telling you what's really going on with sources like End Time Headlines, InfoWars, Coast to Coast AM, and most importantly, CBN News, keeping you on top of what's happening at the top and bottom of each hour during the Gary Russin program. I'll give you the news and analysis of what I think with Gary J's News and Comment. Get the real news, true news, news that's not in the mainstream on GJRB. GJRB Online. We're talking about some of the programs that are coming up on the GJRB program schedule in the coming months of our final program promotions. The GJRB schedule update podcast here on GJRB and the GJRB Freestyle Spring Spectacular. And as I mentioned earlier, I am going to be declining on the really heavy program schedule because I'm finding out that I'm not fitting all the programs that I want on. I've already listened to the promo and said, oh yeah, Gary J, the Blues House. It's going to be called Gary J's Blues House, but it's going to be renamed the Blues House. I don't really want to put too much on my name on this program, even though GJRB is my station. I like to, every once in a while, kind of make it so that someday if I bring other people in here to do these programs, that the programs won't reflect my name, and therefore we can get more than just me doing it someday, getting these programs on different kinds, you know. So I've decided to do it that way. So we're going to take a lot of these programs. I'm going to look them over on the schedule, the rundown of the top music shows, the top 12, which I'm was looking at now, and I'm going to also, with the alternate weeks of music, alternate weeks of talk shows, and mixing them a little bit, so that the programs have a variety on them. And I forgot to neglect to put Gary J's Blues House at number 13. Actually, it might go into number 11. It'll be the new 11. And then 13, 12 and 13 will become Smooth Jazz, Smooth Afternoon. But what I'm going to do there, actually, is to take all the music programs and blocks and talk shows in blocks, and variety of the programming we have in remotes in blocks, such as the CCF church services, the positive, the last 7 days, and all those programs in blocks, and kind of mix them around a little bit, actually, so that it would be with me on, with my programs, mixed in with some of the remote programs. And then then just music, automated music, and then back to me. And there'll be times I'll sound like I'm on all the time with my voice tracking. And as we go through the summer, we're going to take those programs and put them in time slots so that it becomes regular programming here on GJRB Online. And that was the case where we're going to go down to the month where I start doing that. I'm going to go up a page here where I think that's comes in. Okay, here it is. Rotation continuous programming. We'll start at the end of May and around close to the end of May when we do the oldies show and stuff here. So I'm going to be taking a lot of those programs and seeing how they work on here. Put them on the computer and run them into the playlist. You'll see what is called GJRB. Mainly it's just going to be posted as GJRB or GJRB programming. But I'm going to put GJRB program mix into the program, into the title. And it'll all run off of the Spreaker Studio Mixer, and so that the programs are showing up on the list of rundown. So when you play the podcast back on the Spreaker public site, you'll see the programs rundown on the schedule there and how they air, so that when you listen to those later. Now I take all those programs which are going to go off, which I've announced already, are going to go off the Spreaker public site for reruns. And I'm going to go to that here in just a couple of minutes. I have that marked there somewhere. I think it's in my schedule rundown. Let's see if we got it here. Okay, I think it's on this one. Further down the page. We get down here. And when I do the video for this, which will be next week, I will show you the graph lineup. It's going to look like the cable TV listings on your cable box, where you'll have the times on the top and the days on the side there, what days will be on the air and what programs will be on the air that day. And we're going to do the rerun form in this order. Now, these are the programs that I'm looking at right now. They're going to get taken off the GJRB Spreaker public site. The Best of the Gary Russell Program year-end review is going to go off. The last 7 days from January 4th. These are all programs that are going off the GJRB Spreaker public site. They're going to get deleted off the Spreaker public site, but they will be re-uploaded. I'll have a recent Gary Russell program, along with automated music, Bible study from January 5th, 2017 will also be taken off the Spreaker public site. The church services from January 8th. And, of course, a recent Way Out There will also be all the Way Out Theres will be taken off. The older one will be taken off, and that'll be the one that we did the Planet X story with Marshall Masters. That's going to be taken off too. Those are all been played, pretty much been listened to, and we're going to refresh the Spreaker public site and put some different programs on. So we're going to take a lot of those older ones off from January and update our program list. And so when you go on the Spreaker public site, there'll be some different programs on there than what's been on there for some time. So we'll take those programs, which will be on the Spreakers on GJRB computer, and then we'll load them up. Now, a lot of these programs have the older promos on them. These are promos for programs that have been on. These are promos for stuff that's coming up in the Spring Spectacular. Some of those we can still run those. But the other promos for programs that have aired, which would probably end up on some of the programs because they were run live, those promos will air anyway, even though they are expired, they're old, they're done, they've already been on the air. Won't matter too much because probably there'll be a promo for a show that we're probably upcoming on the rundown and will air. So we'll give you a chance to listen to those. Now, all that's going to be working up. All this rundown is going to be working up to this as the season rolls on, and when at the close of the summer, close to summer. Summertime programming will be sporadic as well, and will be scheduled when I can, and will be heard on our 88.9 signal KGRB. That's our 9-foot closed circuit FM station. Those will be broadcast on there in this neighborhood, but you can listen to it live as it happens on GGRB's Spreaker public site. So all those programs will air that way. Now, I'm looking at some of the programming. Now, as we get to the end of the Spring Spectacular, which will be June, that will be it for any program promotions. Because, like I said before, I'm running out of time to do a lot of these programs, and in the summer I have other obligations outside the station. So a lot of the programs won't be airing like they usually do in the summer, and we go under a reduced schedule at that point. So the reduced schedule will continue pretty much into the fall, and then we're going to... now, the reason I'm stopping the season's programming, before I get into the fall here, some programs will... we're going to continue the schedule throughout the fall. So like I said before, there's no really big season promotion. Basically because the Spring Spectaculars that we were doing, the colorful, wonderful colorful fall, all those years. And I thought, well, some of that promotion's like TV does it. But, that's television. They can do that. But we are a radio station, and radio stations don't have the same type of programming as television stations do. They haven't for years, being that TV is different than radio now, and that a lot of the programs on the radio are just DJs playing hits and various things like that. Talk radio is about the only thing that has a variety of different programming. But other than that, the music stations is all music. But like I said before, many a time, I want a variety on this station. And that means that this station is catering to the kind of variety that what radio used to be back in the day. So I decided to make the programs fit that kind of rundown. So we're going to have different programming with different schedules. That'll include the old-time radio. Now, Radioland, which always follows radio, TV, and movie classics, will continue. I'm going to be doing days where I'm going to run old-time radio programs like TV does, like MeTV does their programming schedule. We're going to run a lot of old-time radio. We're going to pick some of the best old-time radio shows that we air, and we're going to run them consistently, such as The Shadow, Radio Gunsmokes, various things like that. And we're going to air them in a regular programming schedule like an independent TV station or MeTV would. And we'll have those days when we're going to air those. And that'll happen in the summer. And like I said before, these program scheduled days will be announced on GJRB Spreaker public site for people listening from YouTube. I'll be posting on there. People listening to this podcast who might be listening to it on Twitter will also get an announcement with the posting of the programs and how they're going to be posted. I do that via the Spreaker public site, in which I really post the schedule rundown right there on the Spreaker posting, so that GJRB is properly promoted. I've got some visual promotional ideas for GJRB, which will going to happen this summer, and it's going to be a little different than what I've had now. The GJRB bike is going to, once I get the tire put on and get that all set up, then we're going to go on location and want to do some different stuff for the Gary Russin program, in which I'm going to interview folks around town with a voice recorder as soon as I get that, and put it back here at the station and play those on the Gary Russin program. Be doing video versions of that too for our video show on YouTube, on the GJRB TV YouTube channel. We haven't really advertised the GJRB TV YouTube channel for quite some time, only because we haven't had anything on there. But that's going to change. So we're going to bring back the YouTube channel, promos and commercials for it, and promote have some of the commercials for the GJRB TV YouTube channel, including the promotions for upcoming Gary Russin programs live stream. We're going to do that. So whenever a live stream is coming up, I will promote that on GJRB Online here on Spreaker. And I'll have video promotions for it as well on the GJRB TV YouTube channel, which I will play. So that's coming up as well this summer. So we're going to see how this all works out. I'm going to try to, I'm going to sit down and really sift through our program schedule. And once I make that program schedule, I'll have another GJRB Schedule Update podcast. Keep in mind that the GJRB Schedule Update podcast is uploaded once a month at the tail end of the month to announce the following month's programming. And I usually have an audio version as well as a video version. The audio version being uploaded on the GJRB Spreaker public site. The video version on the GJRB TV YouTube channel. I'll record that one next week, right after swing time, and I will have that uploaded on the GJRB TV YouTube channel, and you'll see the video of the program schedule right there. I'll also post it in various other places on the GJRB sites that people watch us from, Facebook listeners, and Twitter, and all that. Will post the schedules on there. So I'm going to find a way to post the schedules on there at various points. And that'll also include the Google Plus, and also the schedules will be posted on the GJRB on my Pinterest page. So you'll have a chance to catch them all on those places, so that you'll know what programs are being aired. Now, what I'm going to do is on the video version of this program, which will be recorded next week sometime, I will have the graph rundown of our program schedule to show you how we're going to do this, and it'll be posted there, and I'll always have our schedule posted on all sites, so you'll see the schedule on our public sites in video form or in some kind of form in our promotions for GJRB. So I want to heavily promote GJRB in the coming months. As we get closer to the, when we get to the end of the Spring Spectacular programming, then we're going to, again, like I said, go into regular programming, and that will be the end of our spring promotions. I'm going to put a conclusion to the GJRB Schedule Update podcast with a wrap-up, a review of what we're going to do. So that's coming up next as we return to the GJRB Schedule Update podcast.
Imagine one day tuning around on your internet radio only to find a station playing old radio programs complete with commercials and thinking, what am I tuning into? The past? You might be, or it's just GJRB Online and Radioland. A day of nothing but classic radio shows back to back with classic commercials in between. Like the days of radio. Almost like your computer is picking up signals through time. Closer than you'll ever get to time travel. Radioland.
It was the year World War II ended, and the troops came home, and the music was fabulous, with big hits from Perry Como, Judy Garland, and the Andrews Sisters. The year was 1945. Listen to the year in music on the next Swing Time. I'm Gary Rustin, and I'll be featuring the biggest hits from that year, along with trivial information about the prices of items such as groceries, the news events, the culture of 1945. On the next Swing Time. Uploaded and published on the GJRB Spreaker public site Friday night, April 21st at 8 p.m. The mainstream media is not telling you the truth. They have their own agenda. At GJRB, I have mine. Telling you what's really going on with sources like End Time Headlines, InfoWars, Coast to Coast AM, and most importantly, CBN News. Keeping you on top of what's happening at the top and bottom of each hour during the Gary Rustin program. I'll give you the news and analysis of what I think with Gary J's News and Comment. Get the real news, true news, news that's not in the mainstream on GJRB. It's that time of year once again, spring. A time when the weather gets warm and the flowers bloom, and GJRB is starting new programs and bringing back older ones that haven't been on for a while. It's the GJRB Spring Spectacular. All new programs and old ones returning, like Radioland, Gary J's Radio and Television Classics under a new name. Radio, television, and movie classics, featuring not just radio and television broadcast rarities, but also intermissions from drive-in movie theaters and indoor theaters too. Old movie trailers and movie trivia. The Spring Spectacular will also mean the return of the blues with Gary J's Blues House and country bluegrass with Bluegrass Jubilee. New additions to the Gary Rustin program, including The Man on the Street, as I take my voice recorder to the streets of Clinton and ask people their opinions on what's going on in the news and lighter fun stuff. GJRB Spring Spectacular starts in April on GJRB. Strange things in the sky and around the world. Strange beings sighted. What's going on? All around us, conspiracy theories are being discussed. This is the show all about the strange things that are way out there. I'm Gary Rustin, and this Way Out There's back with more weird stories of the strange and the bizarre. Keep looking up in the sky and let me know what you see. Way out there. Every third Friday at 2 o'clock Central on GJRB. And we are back on GJRB Online for our GJRB Schedule Update podcast, wrapping up this segment of the program. We have about 20 minutes left, so we're going to review what we talked about earlier. Once again, like I said before, we're going to continue with our spring programming, and just to wrap it up, we're going to announce the way we're going to do things in rotation. Music rotation, like I said before, starts in the middle. We have 12 to 13 programs, actually, Gary J's Blues House being one of them, which we don't have on the list, but I will put it on later. In the middle, we start with the Positive Rock Show. Okay, those programs, the Positive Rock Show and Rock Worship, are all regularly scheduled programs, but they are part of the rotation later on. We go top, bottom, ascending and descending order. So when we jump back up to GJRB Music, Gary J in the afternoon, and then the next music show will follow will be Smooth Jazz, Smooth Afternoon. Then we pop up to Bluegrass Jubilee. That's regularly scheduled on a regular scheduled basis on a third Saturday. Then we have the Best of Jazz. That's part of the Jazz Weekend, but we usually might repeat a previous Best of Jazz. Then we pop up to Crooners. So we're going to do programs like this. We're going to schedule the programs this way. So the Best of Jazz might follow by Crooners. And then Music and Memories, which is a program we're starting in June, in which we're going to play the Great American Songbook, all the best of Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, Patti Page. These programs will be, this program is going to be fabulous, and it will air on GJRB Online in June. So look forward to that. Premieres, promotions for that will be coming up as we get closer to that date. And then we pop over, we have Swing Time Favorites. And then we might, by that time, be going to another Rock Worship show and Positive Rock show. Then we go down to the Gary J's the Swing Time Favorites. Gary J's Good Times Great Oldies show, which premieres during our, that show will premiere during our Memorial Day weekend. Memorial Day weekend special. 50s, 60s, 70s rock and roll could include some Beach Boys in there because it's going to be getting to that warm weather, so we're going to kind of play those. So it's going to be kind of a fun program, 50s, 60s rock and roll coming up, and that will be including Gary J's Dusty 45 collection, featuring some great rock and roll, so you want to listen to that one. That's going to be a fun program. Looking forward to doing the oldie show. Got a lot. I even have a little jingle package. How about that? It's going to be fun. And then we go down to the regular programming. Like I said before, I'm going to sit down and look at the days that we're on and how we're going to schedule a program. We might sometimes be broadcasting every day just to run programs, and then we're going to have some evening programs at times. So some days we'll broadcast evenings, and some days we'll not be on the air at all. Now, like I said, I'll post it. The main days that we're not broadcasting are Sunday and Thursdays. So those are the main days we do not broadcast. But other than that, we're on the air just about or almost every day, bringing you programming here on GJRB. So, like I said before, with that, at that rate, a lot of programs will be on the GJRB Spreaker public site until I run out of room, in which case then I will be moving. I'll be taking those programs off, and then they go automatically into the program rotation for re-air. Okay, so that's how that works. And then we'll do that pretty much all summer. Now, if a program gets canceled for any reason or there's any programming shift, we will have a GJR. We'll be right here with another GJRB schedule update podcast. When some programs get changed or there has to be a change in programming and we have to pull a program, I will either post it on the GJRB Spreaker public site, on Twitter, Google+, and on Pinterest. And if it creates a large program change announcement of any kind, then we will come here with a GJRB schedule update podcast to announce it. And then I'll also have that podcast available on the GJRB Spreaker public site. This will also be available on the YouTube as audio, so you can catch this on all the sites. Spreaker, Google+, Twitter, all of them will have this program. And you can catch those programs right there. So we'll hope that you'll tune into those. Meanwhile, we're going to wrap up this schedule update podcast by reminding you once again that the video version of this will be recorded within about a couple of weeks. As soon as I get done with Swing Time and getting that ready to go up, then we were going to be uploading I'll be doing the video version of this and uploading that, recording that and putting it up on YouTube. So you'll see the full video version of this schedule in a different version of this podcast, which will be available on the GJRB Spreaker public site, along with the schedule, and you'll see the visual schedule. And of course, GJRB promotions on the GJRB Spreaker public site as well. So all those programs, and I'm looking forward to doing a lot of them. I'm working on the radio, TV, and movie classics right now. I'm working on finishing up Swing Time, and we're going to have a great broadcast season. That is definitely for sure. I'm looking forward to being able to bring you a lot of great stuff, and we're going to have a good time doing Spreaker Radio in the next couple of months. I want to thank you for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed the program. Once again, you'll see this, you can listen to this as long as you want. We're going to keep it up for quite some time here on the GJRB Spreaker public site, so that you can enjoy listening to it whenever you want to. That's going to do it for the GJRB Spreaker, GJRB Schedule Update Podcast. Thanks a lot for tuning in. And keep it here on GJRB Online for great programming. This is the What's Happening sound. GJRB Online on Spreaker. Have a great weekend.
GJRB, Bluegrass with the Rascals, Bill Monroe and his Bluegrass Boys, and so much more. So it's time to bring it back. Not more often. It's Bluegrass Jubilee Freestyle. With all the great songs you heard before, and some new up-and-coming stars with some emerging bluegrass. Also, some all-time gospel favorites too. Every third Saturday at 2 o'clock Central on GJRB. You hear great jazz on GJRB with the best of jazz, up-and-coming jazz, smooth jazz, and smooth afternoon. You can't get enough of jazz. You live in the Clark-Lake area. Tune in to KALA, Stadium Road University in Davenport, Iowa, and 88.5 on the FM dial. Along with some of the great smooth jazz, you will have a lot of great jazz programming. And programming in other great music formats. And blues, urban, including rap. Also classic R&B and rock band with David Baker on Rewind Friday night for 15 April. In addition, you can get programming in Spanish and some good gospel programming too. For more information on what great programming you hear, check out their schedule at www.slu.edu/KALA. Even if you live in the Northeast area, you can enjoy KALA anywhere you are with your internet stream. Connect with KALA. Listen and enjoy. America's Street Music is back on GJRB Bluegrass with the Rascals, Bill Monroe and his Bluegrass Boys, and so much more. So it's time to bring it back, and on more often. It's Bluegrass Jubilee Freestyle with all the great songs you heard before, and some new up-and-coming stars with some emerging bluegrass. Also, some all-time gospel favorites too. Every third Saturday at 2 o'clock Central on GJRB. It's that time of year once again. Spring.
a time when the weather gets warm and the flowers bloom, and GJRB is starting new programs and bringing back older ones that haven't been on for a while. It's the GJRB Spring Spectacular. All new programs and old ones returning, like Radioland, Gary J's Radio and Television Classics under a new name. Radio, television, and movie classics, featuring not just radio and television broadcast rarities, but also intermissions from drive-in movie theaters and indoor theaters too, old movie trailers, and movie trivia. The Spring Spectacular will also mean the return of the blues with Gary J's Blues House and country bluegrass with Bluegrass Jubilee. New additions to the Gary Russell program, including The Man on the Street, as I take my voice recorder to the streets of Clinton and ask people their opinions on what's going on in the news and lighter fun stuff. GJRB Spring Spectacular starts in April on GJRB. Another Radioland coming soon on GJRB Online.
This is GJR Broadcasting.